This is my critical assignment, injury identification, assessment, and prevention. My name is Brian Enyart, and this is for Kinesiology 353. The sport of choice is high school boys basketball. This is the sport that I chose to do my project on. Some factors that may cause injury in high school boys basketball is that they're still growing. And along with that, high impact can cause a lot of injury. And as you know, in basketball, it's a lot of jumping, it's a lot of movement. So with growing boys, it can be easy to cause injury. Another factor is just the competitive nature of the sport. When you have high school boys who are being competitive, there's bound for injuries. And when it comes to the injuries that I chose, the playing surface is also a factor. Going back to the athletes having to jump, sometimes they hit the floor. The floor is not soft, so that also causes injury. 3 common basketball injuries that I chose to research are the lateral ankle sprain, the ACL tear or sprain, and patellar tendonitis. And throughout this presentation, I will go over the 3 different ones. First one, assessment of injury for the lateral ankle sprain. A lateral ankle sprain, there's different grades. A minor one that you mostly see, and this is the most common one, is a grade 1 ligament sprain. It's very frequent injury in sports. In basketball, one way this happens is a player jumps up for the ball, lands on the foot of another player, causing a lateral ankle or inversion ankle sprain. With this injury, you'll most likely see swelling around the ankle along with tenderness and mild pain. Anatomy of injury and mechanism of injury. The anatomy of injury. Ankle sprains are very common and happen when the strong ligaments that support the ankle are stretched too far beyond their limits. It varies in pain depending on how bad the ligaments are stretched. Mechanism of injury. One of the mechanisms of injury is when it is injured in an inverted plantar flexed and internally rotated position. Another one is increased inversion force, which the ligament is torn. The inversion force could be strong enough to cause a portion of the bone to tear away from the lateral malleus. Rehabilitation and prevention. Rehabilitation. There are different rehabilitation exercises used to prevent stiffness in the ankle as well as increase ankle strength. In the beginning, after an injury, the best thing to do is range of motion exercises with or without resistance. Next, when you are able to stand without pain, without the pain worsening, exercises to strengthen the muscles and tendons is what you need to be doing for rehabilitation. This includes resistance bands and exercises to tolerance. Prevention. Prevention exercises are used to help prevent further injuries to your ankles and create chronic ankle problems. Balance is an important thing to work on because having balance issues means more ankle sprains. An example of prevention is you stand on the affected foot with the other leg up and the eyes closed. This helps you improve on your balance. In addition, when you are healed, agility drills like running, cone drills, and stuff like that help strengthen the calf and ankle muscles. These also help prevent injuries to the ankle. Exercises for rehabilitation and prevention. As you can see right here, there's a link you can follow to see the 2 videos. 2 rehabilitation exercises for lateral ankle sprain. The first one is ABCs, which is a range of motion exercise where you write out the alphabet with your foot. This exercise is great for range of motion and rehabilitating an injured ankle. This is an exercise you can do 3 to 5 times per day to tolerance, going to whatever letter you are able to. And for example, the first day you get to letter F. The next time you do it, your goal is to try to get past the letter F. One thing you want to make sure you do after any exercise, and this goes for all 3 injuries, is make sure you apply ice to your ankle, knee, any injury that you have after the exercises for about 15 to 20 minutes. Another one is a plantar flexion exercise using a resistance band or a towel if there's no band available. With the towel wrapped around the balls of your foot, you press your toe forward like this. Press your toes forward like that, and that'll help stretch and strengthen the ligaments in your ankle. You can do 5 sets of your max, but no more than 20 reps. No more than 20 reps per day in order to strengthen the muscle and ligaments in your ankle. And again, make sure you elevate and ice after the exercise is finished. On to prevention. Achilles tendon stretching should be done before activities to help prevent ankle sprains. You would think that your Achilles tendon doesn't have much to do with it, but when you think about it, your Achilles tendon is right there where all the action happens. So making sure that's stretched out plenty, it helps prevent the sprains. Perform this stretch. You extend the knee, and with it flexed, you go 15 to 30 degrees back and forth. And this is a stretch that you can do before your activities, like before you go run, before you go play basketball or any sport that you do. There's also exercises you can do before you perform your activity, again, basketball being my sport, to prevent as well. Heel and toe walks. Great exercises you do before the activity. Walk about 30 to 40 feet on your toes, one way. Stop on your way back, walk on your heels. This helps strengthen and stretch out your calves, your Achilles, and your ankles as well. ACL tear, sprain, assessment of injury. The ACL is generally considered to be the most serious ligament injury to your knee. Someone with a torn ACL will experience a pop with immediate disability and will complain that the knee feels like it is shifting. With the tear, swelling happens almost immediately. It is found that ACL injuries are most common with women's sports, mostly soccer. Soccer is a big one that you see in high school. But it does happen in basketball as well, as you can see by the 2 pictures. Anatomy of the injury. There are different grades of ACL sprains to help describe the anatomy of the injury. Grade 1, the ligament is mildly damaged and has been slightly stretched, but is still able to help keep the knee stable. A grade 2, it stretches the ligament to the point where it becomes loose and is usually referred to as a partial tear. Grade 3, this type is referred to as a tear of the ligament, in which it has been split in 2 and the knee joint is unstable. The mechanism of injury. The primary mechanism of a non-contact injury, the ACL, involves an axial load with the knee close to extension, a valgus force, anterior shear, and internal rotation of the tibia. Another one is a hyperextension from a force to the front of the knee when the foot is planted, is another one that can tear the ACL. Rehabilitation and prevention. Rehabilitation, this includes when you rehab it, whether you have a full tear or a sprain, rehabilitation is primarily similar. It includes a lot of flexibility and strengthening exercises, along with some endurance, coordination, and once you're able to move it and you have better range of motion, agility training for competing athletes. The purpose of rehabilitation process is to ensure that the injured leg is just as strong as the uninjured leg. Prevention for ACL injuries. Agility and strength training aid in preventing ACL injuries. Strengthening your hip abductor and your quadricep muscles play a huge role in preventing ACL injuries as well. Exercises for rehabilitation and prevention. Again, the YouTube links are up top. Rehabilitation. Lateral and forward-facing step-ups to help improve your range of motion and also strengthening up your knee. For both lateral and forward-facing, you're going to start off going to tolerance, performing the step-ups throughout the day. Now, by that I mean if you can only do 2 and that's all your injured knee is allowing you to do, then 2 it is for that day. You want to work it into a routine of about 3 times per day and 2 sets of whatever your max is of the injured leg. And then your non-injured leg, you want to match the number that you did for your injured leg. Just make sure you're not going more than 20 per set. And again, make sure you ice and elevate when you're done with your exercises. Another good Another good rehabilitation exercise is a stationary bike. Use a stationary bike 2 times per day, starting off at 5 minutes if you can get there. If not, slowly work up to 5 minutes. You want to gradually increase your time to where you're completing about 30 minutes without pain. Again, ice and elevate after your exercise. Prevention. One of the great preventions for ACL injuries is plyometric drills. These are important because it helps strengthen your legs and also strengthen your knees to prevent injury. Box jumps are an example. You can do this 3 times per week if you're a competing athlete. You want to set up plyo boxes. They have small, medium, and large. You want to start off with small and medium, and you want to alternate. Start off with the small, then go medium, small, medium, until you have a total of 6 boxes. You want to start off standing on top of the small box, and you're going to jump off the box, land, go down, and instantly come back up and jump on top of the medium box. And you're going to do that all the way through. You want to do double leg hops, which is facing it, jumping up with both your legs. Also single leg hop, where you do the same exercise as a double leg, but you use your right leg going all the way through and then your left leg going all the way through. And you want to do 2 sets for each one. So 2 sets of double leg, 2 sets of alternating single leg. Another good exercise is for squats, or for your ACL prevention is squats. This is something you can do with or without weights, using just the bar, finding something at home you can do squats with, pretty much anything. But if you are on a regular lifting schedule, you want to perform the squats with light weight, no more than 50%, to ensure that you're performing the squat correctly. You want to do 3 sets of 10, making sure when you go down you're hitting that 90-degree mark. You want to maintain control over the lift. If you are unable to keep control of that lift, then you need to lighten up the weight. The last injury that I chose is patellar tendonitis. This is something that I see a lot of in high school athletes, not even just basketball, all around. The assessment of injury is jumping as well as kicking or running puts pressure on the knee extensor, resulting in 1 or more repetitive injuries, which is tendonitis. The patient will report pain and tenderness at the inferior pole of the patella on the posterior aspect. There are 3 stages of pain when it comes to patellar tendonitis. The stage 1 is pain after the activity. Stage 2 is pain during and after the activity. The patient is able to perform the activity at an appropriate level, though. A lot of times, I've been a coach for the last 10 years, a lot of patellar tendonitis issues. The athletes don't tell you anything about it until it gets to stage 3. And stage 3 is pain during the activity and prolonged after activity. Performance is hampered, which may progress to constant pain and complete rupture. I haven't seen a complete rupture, thankfully, but again, a lot of the athletes don't come and tell us as coaches anything until they hit that stage 3, to where we can tell by the way they're running, by the way they're moving, that there's something going on. Anatomy of injury. Tendonitis occurs in the patellar or quadricep tendon, and on rare occasions the patellar tendon completely fails and ruptures. Mechanism of injury. Patellar tendonitis has the alternate name of jumper's knee, which is when the athlete is bending their knee constantly, then exploding upwards, which causes wear and tear on the knee, resulting in overuse and tendonitis. For basketball purposes, jumping up for rebounds, jump shots, layups, can be overuse of the knee. Rehabilitation and prevention. Rehabilitation. There are different ways to help reduce the symptoms of patellar tendonitis, and they are stretching exercises. They're great because they can reduce muscle spasms and it'll help strengthen and lengthen the muscle tendon. Strengthening exercises include lowering your legs slowly and exercises that strengthen the leg muscles altogether, such as squats or leg press. Prevention. Wearing a patellar tendon strap that applies pressure on your patellar tendon can help relieve pain. And again, strengthening lower leg muscles is a really good way to help prevent further injury to your patellar tendon. Rehabilitation and prevention exercises. Again, here's YouTube links. For rehabilitation, wall slides. This is something that I just learned about for patellar tendonitis issues, and I think it's actually pretty cool. With your back against the wall, feet about shoulder width apart, you want to slowly lower your hips by bending your knees, and you want to hit about the 45-degree mark and then pause for 5 seconds, and then slowly work your way back up. This is a slow exercise. When I was doing it for my video, you felt the pull in your knees, and that's exactly what you want to feel to help strengthen them up. To do this, I recommend about 3 sets of 10 to 15 reps per day to help strengthen up your knees. Another one is straight leg lifts. While lying down, you keep the injured leg flat and the other leg can be bent. You want to try to raise the entire leg off of the floor, or if you're laying on the bed, to a 45-degree angle. Hold it for a second or two. Slowly put it back down. You want to do this 20 reps, 2 to 3 times per day. Prevention, the video link is right there. 2 exercises. The first one is leg press. I use a leg press machine inside of a gym. Or you could also do squats if squats are a similar lift to leg press. It'll help strengthen the legs and also your knee. While sitting at the machine, you want to do 3 sets of 10 reps at about medium weight to make sure you want to make sure your knees do not go farther than 90 degrees. That's important because you go too far, you're exerting too much force, and the lift becomes near pointless at that rate. The leg extension lifts. In my video, it was a little difficult not being in a gym. To demonstrate this, I had to sit in a chair. My legs were flat on the ground, so it was a little difficult. But you want to be sitting upright. Your legs should be off of the floor or close to it when you're using a leg extension machine. You want to extend your legs straight out, and using the weight on the machine, this will strengthen your quadriceps, and it'll help prevent injury to your patellar tendon. And again, you want to do 3 sets of 10 reps. And when you do these, the leg press as well as the leg extension lift, do them on the days if you're lifting constantly. You want to do them when you're working out your legs. These are the references.
That's all, folks.
And that is all. Thank you very much.